Hey, I'm Decathlon Gamer. Welcome back to Pro Cycling Manager 2020. This is Career Mode, episode number 26. We ride with Alves Machado at his native Portuguese National Championship road race. And we also begin with a bit of bad luck. Alves Machado on a fitness peak and an objective was slated for a +3 expected outcome on the race day condition today. He wound up bell curving his way to a -4, negating all of those positives and winding up with a -1 on the day. Crazy unlucky on that. Couldn't have gone any worse for him, other than literally 1 point worse was the most he could have possibly gotten. He at least ends up neutral, but the field just split all of a sudden. As suddenly the pace has picked up, we want to make sure that we stay near the front. So my cruise pace is now turning into let's not get dropped pace. Pretty simple course, but there is definitely some undulation to it. There is one little worrying section. And then Alves Machado otherwise would have a definite chance in this race for a decent result. Win, yeah, I doubt it. I have no lead out. We're seeing an attack here. Rodriguez.
That's really a punchy attack.
Yeah, no, that's okay. That's not that Rodriguez. 2 more times up and down. As long as that pace doesn't get ridiculous, he'll make it through those 2 climbs, which right now his energy is holding out pretty well. Then he can compete for that sprint. Maybe grab a top 5. But sprinting alone is going to make that difficult because he's got no lead out at all. Alright, pace really starting to pick up again. Let's make sure we do not slip behind on this one. And it's all back together. All 43 riders in the bunch with 35k to go. New attacks. There goes Rodriguez and Reese. One of them brought back in. Chase coming pretty hard. Okay, here comes the challenge. We're about to go through the downhill, and then we're going to swing back for the uphill, and this is the part that worries me. It's all together at the moment, though. I think that's always a good sign for me that we're not chasing, but that front group is definitely attacking. And they do split the field in half momentarily. We were on the front side of that this time, but it comes back together. So there you go. There's the first riders being dropped. So pace-wise, riders unable to keep up. They are crumbling, and we're down to 35. Just one more time through. I think Alves Machado is definitely going to be in contention for this one late. 19k. Fatigue really setting in, but 19 kilometers is not that long. Except for here comes an attack. 4 riders, and these are contenders. Guerrero, Gonçalves, one of the biggest names in Portuguese riding.
The riders have just passed the 15 kilometers road sign.
Back together, though. Oh, it just split again. Same group. Second attack. Alright, here we go. Last uphill, and I'm good to go. As long as this comes back together. Just 3 of them left, and riders getting dropped from here, from that climb. They couldn't handle the speed. We're down to 24, chasing 3 with 7 kilometers to go. Those 3, not that far away, but not the easiest to bring back as it's strong riders. Fatigue really setting in for me. Slow down here. 4k to go. Gel's coming, maybe a hair late. And those 3 are still away. And we are not chasing hard. There's finally an acceleration, but it's an attack.
Those guys up front aren't going to be making too many friends today.
Okay, 1k to go. Bad start position on this, but good pace relative to others. Holy cow, that is close. We're going to have a podium. Guerrero takes the win. Gonçalves second. Alves Machado grabs a podium. 3rd place. And look at the energy expenditure. He's got about 3% and 2% left. That's almost inch perfect. If he had the +3 race day condition, he would have won. +3, adding a few sprint points, adding a few stamina points, resistance points, guaranteed. Alright, here we are, the biggest objective of the entire year. Spanish sponsor this year. Just 2 Spanish riders on the team, and one of them is out with a long-term injury. And so all of our hopes and dreams of success this season lie with Carlos Rodriguez. Now, even if he fails this, there is a pretty dang good chance that we will still get a max evaluation, maybe not at 100%, but we are sitting pretty on that sponsor evaluation right now. So I do like my chances a bit. But here we are with Carlos Rodriguez, who is, well, not terribly well suited to this race comparatively to other Spanish riders. I think we can and should, though, hang on for quite a while. There's some definite climbing to do. It's a long stage. We're not in the top 10 favorites, but I'm certainly capable with this rider maybe turning this into a top 10, but here I go again with the unlucky bit. No +3 race day condition expected this time, but certainly not a negative, as I actually never have a negative expected for my riders because I manage their fitness levels and their fatigue. Those alone always give me neutral at the very least, so a negative not helpful here. The only thing that has hurt is that downhill rating by a single point. There's a fair bit of downhill here, including towards the finish. So it does hurt slightly, but we'll call that slight. It's certainly not a major concern. So more or less neutral on the day. At least it could have been worse. Like with Alves Machado, who totally could have won if he would have gotten what he had earned, what he deserved. Small breakaway here. They've got a decent lead going. It's 3 minutes already. 7 total riders away. But between Movistar, Astana, Bahrain, McLaren, a lot of Spanish riders on all those teams, that's enough to control the peloton and make sure that front group of 7 is reeled back in. And then the reality of the situation is that cuts it down to a competitive field of about 57. Now, Rodriguez, not a great climber at a 70 at all. That's not a good rating. But it's not a bad rating. I mean, it's very much a neutral, run-of-the-mill, average kind of guy rating. There's far worse than a 70. So what I'm trying to say is I do think that there are probably a good half of the riders in this peloton who are going to be well below that 70 and struggle and not make it over these climbs. So if we take away another 25 or 30 riders, plus the 7 at the front who are most likely going to be exhausted and caught and slip right back out the back, most likely, at least 5 or 6 of them anyway, well, then all of a sudden we're looking at a top 25. Can I convert that into a top 10? That's the tricky bit, because there are definitely more than 10 decent climbers here. And I'm neutral, not decent. That's the next step above. Worst of the climbing is behind us, but that's the same set of climbs we have to take at the end. This right here is the finishing climb, 3K, 6%. That one's not bad. It's the one before it that's going to do some damage. Here's the over-the-top bit. We're going to follow this up with relatively flat, and now we're into the downhill. This is where Rodriguez normally might do something, as that is his strongest, resistance and downhill. Deep little bob right before you come into town, and then it does sprint it out. Oh, it's back to 4% there for a little bit before you come to the finish line. Really important note, trying to stay away. That's going to be something.
Given that the pack has increased its speed.
A lot of weaving back and forth. I didn't see the finish line. We definitely passed the finish line. There was some sort of turn off to where the finish line is, but then we're heading back out onto the circuit for one more lap. 4 climbs. There was technically 5 at the beginning, one little hill before we got onto the circuit, but then 2 big circuits. First one already done. And here we go. So we're down to 1:40 on 7 riders that are away. Definitely getting closer, and they are starting to break up. First one going back. First one from the Peleton going back. So the climbing already beginning to take its toll. 7 riders dropped off the back. Now we're down to 50, chasing 6. Still at 1:30 though. So it didn't pull time back, but clearly damage is being done in that group. The more they thin out, the more work each of them has to do, the less able they are to stay away. Next one, fading. Without a climb even. 60k to go. Let's go ahead and get water 1. Final time for this one. Hopefully we get back into position before this climb. No, that's a little late for that, Rodriguez. Shoot. Not the best timing there. Thought he would have had it. Alright, so we're down to just 5 away. They're down to 1:10, so we've pulled back 20 seconds through that sector. And it looks like they're splitting off. They're done as it goes inside a minute. One rider attacking the rest. Now they're going to come back together, waste their energy attacking each other. Peloton's definitely got this in hand. Now, Rodriguez.
The lead over the pack is
kind of tired.
The breakaway is not to everybody's liking. The Peleton has
30k to go, but this is the big moment. I mean, that final climb is important, but I think this one is where a lot of damage can be done if the pace is too hot. So we've really got to watch out for what's going to happen here. One little downhill here, and then we go up the final bits, on this climb. And here we go. They're about to get reeled in, and we're seeing the acceleration, and it's the big names.
Things are heating up in front.
It's the big names. This is the group we need to join. And that's 10, 12 riders away. 5 of them don't matter. 7 riders away. Okay, Rodriguez, come on, bridge that gap. You got a nice little downhill descent to get on with them. And then that's a group of 8, hopefully to the finish. Come on, you're a decent downhill guy. Bridge that gap. Bridge that gap. Oh, come on, Rodriguez. You're not... This is where if I had that downhill point, maybe he catches these guys sooner. There you go. There you don't go. Get back on. That one point absolutely could have made the difference between having already bridged that gap and not bridging it at all. And now, here we are, totally fatigued and struggling to this final climb. And I'm back in the group and now exhausted. We're going to fail miserably on this objective now. And we were so close to making contact early. You've got to say, that 1 point absolutely makes that 1 to 2 kilometer difference per hour that made him not catch those guys. I mean, right there. And he made contact and lost it. Made contact and lost it. I mean, that... a hair more speed And he's got that completely under control. Now I've got to get whatever position I can get, so this is really important that I attack this last 2 kilometers a little bit, try to finish ahead of these guys, but we are outside of the top 10 for sure. Ivan Garcia Cortina takes the win, Jan Izaguirre and his brother Gorka Izaguirre, second and third, Marc Soler, Jesus Herrera, Mikel Landa are your top 6. I've missed out all the way down to 30th. Big blow. Gosh, he was right on the group. Right on the group. And had plenty of energy. He just couldn't make contact. He couldn't bridge that last 5 meters. 10 meters. It's all he needed to officially be in the group. And it counted him in the group for a split second. Like, twice. He was right there. And then as soon as it flattened out, the increased effort just blew away whatever energy he had. Meanwhile, I would have just had him sit in the group and try to ride on to the end had he bridged that final 5 to 10 meters. And 1 or 2 more attribute points on the downhill easily would have been able to do 10 meters. Apparently a 73 wasn't enough. 75, 76 would have been perfect. So we open this episode with bad luck. But like I said, I don't think this is going to hurt me as bad as it could. This comes down total failure. Rodriguez did not make it. We very much got hurt in the fact that we lost his teammate, so he didn't have protection. He would have been fresher coming into that. I could have burned his teammate to chase that down, while he would have been fresh for the final climb and contest with those top 7 for at least 8th place. And instead we fade to 30th alone. I don't know if we have any races left. We do. Italy. And even though he took it on his own last year, I have to give Zeta a chance to retain his jersey. Man, what a pairing that is right there, though. We're not even in the top 10 favorites. How we did that last season, I don't know. You know what? He earned this on his own, this jersey. Let's see if he can retain it on his own. Wow, he came so close to doing it. So close. Tintoni takes 9th, by the way. He's also in the top 10. Umberto Zeta, 2nd place. Neither of them in the top 10 favorites. I don't know how they're doing it. I mean, Giulio Ciccone, Moscon, Fellini, those are really strong riders. Cataneo, a little better on the mountains and hills ratings. Zeta has a fantastic flat rating, really good stamina. I think that's what kept him in this. Not that great of a climber. So, bit of a miracle that he's even in this thing, but so close to retaining the jersey. Either way, still an excellent result. He gets 2nd place. That's going to make up quite a bit for what we lost by not getting a top 10 in Spain. Also, podium, same evaluation in Portugal. So 2 podiums at National Road Championships is going to turn out to be a bit of a wash, and there it is. It is. We fail the sponsor objective, and we still have the 100% evaluation. So, big old red X with just 2 races to go. 1 after the deadline. It's only 2 stars, meaning it's not going to impact anything. But there it is. Top 3s, podiums in Italy, Portugal, and the USA. That's 6 pluses to negate that big red X. Multiple pluses on that one for Rodriguez being there, participating. And we're good to go. So, all that's left to do for this season now, sign a new contract, sign a rider or two for next season, and look at dossiers one or two more times to see what's left to do. Otherwise, we are going to have a burst of speed as we push forward now through the remainder of this season, late June. Months still to go, but our work just about done. Only a month ago, none of the riders at 100%, but good progress being made pretty much across the board. Rivera looks like he'll get close. We have 2 periods to go. That could be just enough to hit 100% if he gets 10% in each upcoming dossier period. And then Gibbons, just 3% away. It looks like he'll definitely make it to May as well. Case Bull, I think Case Bull might come up a bit short. I added Case Bull to the list just last month, so it's only been a month. But if he's only going to pick up 8% per period, we're only going to add 16% more by the finish, and that's not going to be enough to make it. But the kind of progress we've made, I think we've got a real shot at bringing in someone who's fairly interested already, but is a better rider. I mean, I love that Dennis and Pino are up there, but I don't see how I'll be able to afford them if I only have $9,000 to spend. And there's actually a chance that maybe I even want to just save some money for the following year, or do a 1-year contract with someone maybe. It's a lot of 100%. Okay, so to get to the 75s, which at this point you kind of want to go with the 75. We're looking at just a few 73s. Lawson Craddock, not going to develop at 30. And it's 2 sprinters, actually. We have 11 points, by the way. No young riders. It's mostly older riders that are looking to join the team. We can get down to a couple young riders here. Ooh, strong sprint. I think we've got to go for the strong sprinter here. So on the final day of July, we swing our way from bad luck into the good luck column, but we'll see if that good luck holds. First off, Lopez yesterday finally is back. We claim a couple victories quick simming through the month. William Barta won a time trial. Carlos Rodriguez won Barta took a podium in a time trial and won a short little sprint punch stage right after it. And then Carlos Rodriguez won a time trial and took second at the Qinghai Lake race, which was 13 stages long. But the time trial was the biggest split of time in the field. The guy who finished about third on the time trial is the one who ended up winning it, but he had a little bit of a time advantage entering that stage. I have sponsor offers. This is where we'll see if I have any real luck, but I'm thinking Sweden and maybe South Africa are where our offers are coming from, and that's not going to do me any good at all. It doesn't. It does nothing for us. So our terrible, terrible luck regarding sponsors continues. It really does. I don't have any South African riders. I don't have any Swedish riders. I have the 2 Spanish riders, but a $54,000 budget with with a max that's really not any better. I could take 2,000 more by going with the African group, but I will have no South African riders, which means I'm going to have a hard time keeping up a max evaluation with that one. The only thing is the estimation max is so much higher, where I could almost certainly earn more than the $9,000 increase that will continue with Chebeco. So I kind of have to go. I mean, I get a bonus 2,000 a month next year. That's an extra 2,000 that I can spend on a rider, and the estimation max is high enough that I think I could really get a boost. I don't have a South African rider. I'm gonna have to try to find one for essentially nothing, and at least, have a South African rider or two, but that's gonna hurt. Wait, was Gourmet? Gourmet's not South African. He's in the southern parts of Africa, Ethiopian or something like that. But we've got to go for the potential. We've got to build. It's going to be harder to build. But bye-bye, Chebeco. And with that, we're going to be moving on to that signing day. I now have to try to include a South African rider in that signing period, or two. I don't know if I will. But whatever, we'll make it work. We will make it work. Yes, we will. That is going to do it for this episode, though, on Decathlon Gamer. Thanks for tuning in. Oh, look at that. We've moved to the top of the Continental rankings. Up to 17th as well. Have a good one. Be safe out there. I'll see you next time, and bye for now.